Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Mari. I'm one of the librarians at Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine, and today we are here to finish The Accidental Adventures of India McAllister, written by Maine author Charlotte Agell and published by Henry Holt and Co. We're going to pick up where we left off with Chapter 11, India McAllister is officially an idiot. On Sunday, the worst Wednesday ever begins to look like a picnic. That's because I end up having the biggest adventure of my life without being any kind of hero. The day starts out bright and beautiful. Sunshine pours into the room. Bird is still visiting and acting adorable. She flies around the room, chasing the shadows of clouds. Then she swoops down to the dog. She and Tofu could be a circus act. They're that fun to watch. But watching by myself is boring. Mom's in her studio. She's painting what she calls an epic scene, so I know that she won't stop to make lunch. I make the mistake of calling Colby. He's just the same old Colby, I tell myself. Maybe he's coming to his senses. I dial his number, and I get his little sister, Cecilia. Cece, I say, since that's her nickname. Can I talk to Colby? Nope, says Cece. Okay, I say, why not? If you don't ask her, she won't say a thing. Some people probably shouldn't be answering the phone. He's not here, says Cece. Then I make my big mistake. Where is he? I ask. Out with Amanda, says Cece, and hangs up on me. My stomach gets totally sour. I sit down at the kitchen table. Tears begin to pour down my face. I make sure Bird is safely in her cage, and I pat Tofu on the head. I have to go somewhere to be alone. After I'm done painting, do you want to go get ice cream? I love you. Why did you tie me up? Being miserable is best accomplished by yourself with fewer distractions. I head towards the wood behind our house. I hop over the stone wall without even wondering if I'll see the garter snake who lives there. I pretend not to see Mrs. O, who is waving from her window. My feet and Mom's have worn a narrow path into the forest. Mostly my feet. When I was younger, I'd come to the woods to think about my birth mom. I'd come without Tofu since he'd cheer me up too much, and I actually wanted to be sad. Besides, he scares away the wildlife. I always wrote Dear Birth Mother notes and hid them under rocks. I did that because my old idea of sending balloons with note tied to the string wouldn't really work. They would burst way before they crossed the Pacific Ocean, and a bird might mistake the dead balloon for food and choke. How could a birthday party balloon make it all the way to China from Maine? It wouldn't even make it from Wolfgang to China, Maine, and there is one. Besides, my birth mom probably doesn't read English. Sometimes I look for my old notes, but they're mostly decomposed. Like, there's this one that says, Dear Chinese Mother, I wish I could remember you. Love, India, and then her Chinese name under there, Faye. Why? Nature takes my notes and rains on them so they compost into the earth, and that's fine with me because really those notes are for nobody but me. It's funny how you can think really hard about a person you don't know. It's also funny how when you try not to think about something, then that's all you can think about. Colby and Amanda, Colby and Amanda, Colby and Amanda. How can Colby like the rodent? I walk furiously into the woods, not really noticing how springy it's getting. The little creek rushes with water. Black flies cloud the air. I'll let them bite me. I'm too sad to care. Bloody bites would fit my mood just fine. By the time I stop to rest, I'm in the woods someplace I don't recognize. There's an old snowmobile resting next to some swamp irises. There's a little pond with water bugs skittering all over it. I can't hear Route 16 at all. Maybe because there's no traffic on it, or maybe because it's too far. There are a lot of trees. I don't think I've ever been this far in the forest before. I sit on the soft moss to think, which is not good for the moss. It dies if you bother it. But today I'm not thinking of botany. I curl up into a little itchy ball of black fly bites and fume. Before I know it, I'm waking up from a weird dream. In my dream, I was in China. It was very green with hills, and the wind was blowing something awful. I was freezing. When I open my eyes, I can see why. Big, fat, wet snow is falling, even though it's June. This happens sometimes, but not much. Poor man's fertilizer, my dad calls it, good for gardens. I'm not sure why. Minerals, maybe? It's freaky to have snow in almost summer. The snowflakes dance down. They are white and beautiful against the green fir trees. Looking up, I almost feel like I'm flying myself, and the cold, cold flakes numb the tears and the black fly feeling off my face. But it's cold and I'm not wearing my jacket. I don't even have my boots. This is crazy. I have to go home. But there is a problem. I'm actually lost. I wish I had Tofu with me. Tofu is never lost. All the trees look the same, especially with the snow sticking to them. My little deer path is covered with white. I was so angry when I headed into the woods that I forgot to notice landmarks. It says, appropriate clothing is so hard to predict in Maine. You won't regret bringing a jacket to the beach in June. Chances are good you'll need boots in mud season. Don't forget your umbrella. A scarf is good in case of wind. Maybe I'm not even in Wolfgang anymore. I could be clear over to Chesterville. It's hard to tell which direction I'm going in since there's no more sun, just snow that's falling, falling, falling. India McAllister is officially an idiot and maybe done for. I've heard of people getting lost for days without their coats. Sometimes this doesn't turn out well. Help me, I yell between sniffle. I'm lost in here. But nobody answers. I know you're supposed to stay put in the woods to make a little shelter, but I start running in the direction I think must be right. The snow makes it slippery. I fall over a log and gash my arm, but it hardly hurts since I'm frozen solid like an ice cream bar. By the time I get to a deep ravine, I stop. I can't go any further. It's all wrong and also very dark, despite the snow. I curl up under a hemlock to think. I hope somebody finds me. A nice somebody, like Colby's dad out hunting, even though it's not hunting for anything season right now, except for turkeys. Or maybe a troop of scouts come by on a camping trip, all prepared with matches and blankets and granola bars. I wouldn't even mind if the rodent found me, as long as she didn't talk to me and knew the way out. But why would she? I decide I have to stay put. Walking around in circles is no good. Somebody will find me. I sing songs to myself and think of Tofu and Beatrice. When nobody comes, except for the night. After a while, it isn't snowing anymore. My clothes are damp. Even under these thick green branches, water dribbles down my neck. I hug the tree trunk as if it's my only friend in the world. Tears run down my cheeks. They are the warmest thing about this night, but I can't be lost forever. I start thinking terrible thoughts. Mrs. Ordnance will have to put her photo in my wallet of lost people, but I sure hope she doesn't use my school photo because I closed my eyes. Then I get myself together. Indy McAllister will not give up, even if she's lost in a forest wearing wet clothes. People have survived over much worse. I sing Pop Goes the Weasel over and over again loudly, since it's one of Beatrice's favorites, and since I'll be much easier to find if I'm noisy. Then I run out of breath. An owl calls nearby. There is heavy crunching. I want to call out, but what if it's a big animal, like a wolf? I haven't heard any howling, thank goodness. The crunching gets closer. I crawl out from under the tree and look. There are voices and a light. It's the beam of a flashlight. It could be terrible robbers or something, but I decide to take that chance. Hello? I call. Over here? India, shouts an unfamiliar voice. India! I answer, and the person strides into view. It's two people, actually, some kind of warden and my mother. And not only that, it's Tofu. Tofu on a leash, straining to reach me. Tofu, my hero dog, who trailed me through the cold, dark woods so that I could be found. Mom, I sob. Tofu, I love you so much. Mom hugs me hard and wraps me in my big winter coat. Tofu licks all the tears off my face. Oh, honey, Mom says, thank goodness Mrs. O saw you go into the woods. And the snow, oh, the snow, we were so worried. It seems like she wants to say a whole lot more, but she just holds me tight and rocks me back and forth, and I'm nearly warm. It's like a sappy scene in a movie, but one that feels good, in which the hero rides off, in which the sun sets, in which people kiss, in which I, India, am found. It takes us over an hour to come out of the woods. The warden and Tofu keep us going in the right direction. The warden doesn't say much, and I'm glad about that, because I do feel foolish, now that I'm found. Quite the storm, he does say, although it isn't snowing anymore. Yep, I agree. Mrs. O comes over the minute we get home. She's been waiting up for us with cranberry oatmeal cookies straight from the oven. I just knew you'd be found, she says, smothering me with a hug. Then Dad calls from Cleveland, since I guess Mom let him know that I was missing. India, he said, my strong girl, I'm so relieved. I can be home in 2 days, and I can't wait to see you. He says he can't believe there was a snowstorm, but then again he can. This is Maine, after all. We talk a little bit about how Beatrice is liking tofu and everything. And then we say goodnight. Richard sends you a big hug, he says, before he hangs up. I've never hugged Richard in person, at least not yet, but I think someday I will. I fall asleep in my own bed after checking in on Beatrice Strawberry Bird. She's singing as if nobody in the world has any problems whatsoever. It's very sweet, but I cover her cage with a towel. It's already 11 o'clock. To me, it feels like next Thursday. Mom still calls some other people to let them know I've been found. Fortunately, none of them is Amanda the rodent. Mom washes my arm gash and covers my wound in a mermaid band-aid, the kind that I liked when I was 6. My arm throbs just a little. Sweetie, Mom says when I explain how sad and mad I was. I'm sure Colby is still your friend. She reassures me that the rodent never has to find out that I got myself lost in the snowstorm. She tells me a story that I've heard before, about how when she was little she had an enemy named Barbara who grew up to be one of her best friends. So you never know, she says wisely. Although I do know, the rodent and I will never be friends. Mom sits on my bed holding my hand until I'm back in Dream China, walking around those green hills all the way until morning. In my dreams, I am a long ago girl who knows dragons and mist. Chapter 12. How everything works out. Mom says that I don't have to go to school on Monday so I can recover from my accidental adventure. Even though Beatrice is visiting, I still do want to go back. It's like getting back on your horse. That's what brave people do. There aren't that many school days left, and anyway, after all that sad time in the woods, even seeing the rodent doesn't seem that bad. School is fine today. It's better than fine, actually. That's because Colby is not even looking at Amanda. Better yet, she's ignoring him completely. After school, Colby comes over to my house without me even asking him. First, we admire Bird. Bird rides around on Tofu's back while singing the opera she's now memorized and invites herself to Colby's shoulder. Her claws pinch him, but he stands still and take it. I can tell that they like each other. Then we play Stairball. Stairball is this awesome game that you can play at my house because we have a wide stairway. This is the back stairs by the kitchen, but this is the front hall stairs with the ancestors that look very stern and a painting that Mom painted. We have a narrow and a steep stairway too, but those are the kitchen stairs, and they're good for other things, like hiding because they're haunted and nobody dare search there. Mom calls our front stairway the Gone with the Wind stairway. She doesn't mind if we play Stairball. It's not like we lead movie star lives with ball gowns or anything. So Colby and I are hitting the ball back and forth up the stairs. You have to serve the ball with your fist and then step back so the other person can hit it. You get more points if you reach a higher stair, but if the ball stops on a landing, you have to go up there and beat it down. You do this by running or by riding the banister. Tofu does it by running partway with you and only sort of gets in the way. Stairball is a good time to talk about awkward stuff because if you get misunderstood, you can always say, "That's not what I meant, you didn't hear me." The thwack of the ball and all the bouncing and laughing are good camouflage. So I asked Colby about Amanda. Do you really like her? The ball hangs in midair for the split second of truth. He hits the ball to the 11th stair and shrugs. She's in love with my brother, Jacob. I want to laugh at him. He looks so sad and jump for joy because I'm so happy. But I restrain myself, like best friends do. Too bad for him, I say, and grin. Later, when we're having macaroni and cheese with peas in it, and listening to the awesome Beatrice do her crazy best at opera, I tell Colby about my long time in the deep woods. In the snowstorm, he asks. Wow. I nod. I think I might have seen abdominal snowman prints. Then I laugh and he laughs because both of us know that I'm just making that part up. Colby smiles. I'm glad that Tofu found you. At the sound of his name, Tofu presents his ears for scratching, and Colby knows exactly the spot that Tofu likes. We sit there and Mom comes in with hot chocolate. June is an odd time to serve hot chocolate, she admits, offering us marshmallows, but since it snowed yesterday, we don't complain. Mom's hot chocolate is right up there on the list of things that Colby and I both like. Anyway, there are 3 more days of school, so summer vacation is yet to come, and that's almost better than having it here, actually. Some things that are better before you get them, like a present from Aunt Kirsten, who thinks I like pink, a girly pink headband and very pink mittens, and a pink pony notebooks. Ugh, and some things are not, like ice cream from Harvey's. It's always more amazing, especially the pistachio. The next day, Dad is back from Cleveland. After school, Mom surprises me by saying she's going to drive me and Beatrice over to Ottenbury. That's almost never happened before. Dad usually gets me himself. Ever since I lost myself in the woods, Mom's been acting like I might be a bit younger than I am, but that's okay. Let's take Tofu too, she suggests, since he and Beatrice get along so well. The whole family can go. Tofu is always up for a ride. We put Beatrice's cage with her in it in the front seat next to Mom and buckle it in with the seatbelt. Tofu and I get in the back. Mom rolls the window down for Tofu so he can stick his nose out and smell all the new summer smells. It's good because then his slobber can go outside, not on me. As we ride along the back roads to Ottenbury, Beatrice Strawberry Bird starts chirping and talking. Funny dog, she announces. Bird loves tofu, tofu, tofu. Tofu puts his head inside the car for a moment and looks around. And then he goes back to the business of detecting distant trash bins and other tantalizing things. He's so happy he starts to howl out the window, and I'm sure we look very funny in Mom's messy old car. That's okay, there's nobody to see us. When we get to the Pines and pull into Dad and Richard's driveway next to the 3 cars that can't fit in their garage, there is someone to see us. It's that nosy neighbor from next door. I feel a bit sorry for her, spying on us from behind her curtain. She should just come out and meet the gang. Richard and Dad greet us. After Dad has scooped me up into his arms and squeezed me wicked hard, he turns to Mom. Thanks for bringing her, Rosemary, he says in a friendly way. Mom nods and smiles as Tofu does his happy dog leap. He's been missing Dad, I think. Meanwhile, I'm hugging Richard. He smells like cologne and his arms are stiff, but that's just Richard. Maybe he needs more hugging practice. Thank you so much for taking care of Beatrice, Richard says to me. Our pleasure, Mom answers for all of us. Before we leave, we go out onto Dad and Richard's back deck to have some tea. I use 4 lumps of sugar and nobody says anything. It's mostly because I can't resist their weird sugar tongs that look like chicken feet. Nice tomato plants, Mom tells Dad. They're looking hearty. Thanks, Dad smiles, and he doesn't even fret when Tofu goes over to investigate the garden, his whole body wagging with delight. Let's hope so. Before long, we'll have lovely tomatoes. Richard says, probably too many tomatoes. We can send some home to you with India when she visits. We all like that, yeah, especially me. Sometimes sitting quietly without talking says more words, like when you're all together and the summer is about to begin. The end. I hope you enjoyed hearing this story about India McAllister and her accidental adventures by Charlotte Agell. My name is Sarah Mari. I'm one of the librarians at Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.